Before getting started on this assignment, I would suggest that you look at the section on arrays in your book. The material just supports what we did in class and will give you some more pointers and information on stepping through each individual item and how the index of the array can be incremented using a counter and using a loop. What you'll find then is you have really 3 steps to this. So similar to the activity that we did in class, I'm asking you to create 2 arrays and then using JavaScript populate an unordered list tag in your HTML. So the first step, if I take you over to the starter file that I created, you'll notice a couple of things. I have some styling going on. And then inside the actual HTML page, I have an H1, a couple of paragraphs, a link with an ID, and then an empty unordered list with an ID. So the step 2 part of that assignment that I described is to create a months array. Okay, so this is empty, so you're going to need to complete the code. And here I just want the name of the month, right? So they're each individual string, so you'll have to create this list. So complete this task, and then you're going to have a corresponding array. This is called a parallel array. It is days in month, right? So for the first position, knowing that I have January here, I want the number of months in January. So that's why parallel, because in index number 0, you have the word January in the month array, and then in index number 0, you have related information, 31 days in January. Okay, and then so go ahead and complete this task as well. Next, I have a variable that is empty. It's an empty string, so you can see I've initialized it to nothing. When you get down to this portion here, inside your loop, you're going to loop through each item of your array, and you're going to create a list tag using your full list. Again, this is similar to what we did in class. Exiting the array, you should have this, right? So it should look like LI, and then the first item, which is January, and then 31. Now, where you're getting January from and where you're getting 31 from is not just you typing up the name like I did. You're going to have to do something like this, right? Replace this with months. Right, and this is the counter from your array, from your loop. This is your days in month. Okay, and again, this is your counter, right? Because at 0, you're going to get January. At 0, you're going to get January. And then you would add this to the closing LI. So this should all be happening inside your loop, so that when you exit the loop, full list will have January through December, and then I would like you to just using inner HTML here, etc., etc., etc. So complete this, and you'll just send full list out to the HTML. Again, take a look at the sample we did in class. It is in the chapter 4 in Blackboard. And has the name, I believe it's array looped sample. So take a look at that. It looks just like this, right? So this will need to be completed. And then once you're done with that, you can move on to this step 3 of the assignment. So what I'm asking now is that you have an input field and a push button. And the user is going to enter in a month number, like let's say I enter 5. I click the button, and you should be able to go out and find May, and then the total number of days in May, and I want those to display. So inside this function is going to get called from onClick from the button. So step 1 is to create the button tag, create the input tag. Put those up here. I've labeled here where to put them, right? Create a label and input field, create a button tag. Use your onClick event handler. Again, look at the samples that we did in class. And then call the date function. Come down to the function, All right, you have a user month. User month is equal to, replace this space with whatever ID you give your input field. And this is going to go out and get the user value and store it in this variable. Okay, so you're going to use that as the index of your array. So if I enter in a 5, it's going to go find 5, right? And so remember that your array starts counting at 0, so you'll need to do the 5 minus 1. Once you do that, then you'll be able to display the month and the number of days in the month. So the last thing I'm asking you to do here is to add logic to listen for a mouse over on the link tag that I created up at the top, just to change the border style and color. So you can use the on mouse over inline event on the a tag and then have it call a function. So create your function down here. And then inside that function, you just want to use this similar logic here, document.getElementById by ID, .style, .border, and change the styling there.